The Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or the DMCA, is one of the most abused and misunderstood laws that is currently in effect. And since its inception, it has and continues to cause massive harm to content creators and the internet as a whole. The DMCA was written in 1998. Since that time, the internet has gone through many radical changes and inventions. Since then, more people across the globe have adopted it into their homes. Back in 1998, people who had the internet were a minority. Now it's very hard to find someone who doesn't have internet, and it has become important to the livelihoods of many people and corporations. Since 1998, many huge websites have cropped up: Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Reddit, Wikipedia, and YouTube. Even Google Search was about a year old during the DMCA's creation, and it is a different website now than it was back in 1998. One of the most common responses to the DMCA that websites seem to have is to have blanket takedown features, in which companies use robots to take down every video, website, or etc. to remove all of a specific tag, name, or brand. This is an unfeasible system to maintain, as copyright is a context-sensitive issue. For example, due to this blanket system, in 2013, Jonathan Blow, a game developer, got a DMCA takedown notification. His alleged copyright infringement was posting footage of The Witness, a game that he designed and made by himself, thus owning the copyright to entirely. The DMCA notice was sent by Sony. This is because misidentification happens with the DMCA quite a lot. Sometimes it's by accident, as you'd expect with blanket takedown notifications. However, sometimes it is undebatably malicious. In 2012, Sega of Japan, using automated systems and mass DMCA takedowns, began removing videos of Shining Force 3 on YouTube, a game that came out in 1997 and could not even be purchased at the time they sent the mass takedowns. These mass takedowns removed more than just videos showing game footage. They removed everything from videos talking about the game with no footage or music whatsoever, and thus having no copyrighted content. On top of that, they also removed videos that had nothing at all to do with Shining Force 3. The videos in question just had an unfortunate title or an unfortunate description. And things like this are still happening with mass takedowns. If you put Spider-Man in your video description, even if it has nothing to do with Spider-Man, at this point you could probably expect to have a DMCA takedown in your inbox at some point in the future. This originally happened because Sega of Japan had no intent to fight copyright infringement. None of these companies seem to have intent to actually fight copyright infringement in court. They have no intent to sue anyone whose videos that were taken down. Sega of Japan in particular did this so that they'd be able to get search rankings for one of their new video games that had a similar name to Shining Force 3. In our criminal justice system, in almost every other area, the burden of proof is supposed to be placed on the accuser. And in this case, the DMCA, the law seems to be placing the burden of proof on the accused, which is unconstitutional. One of the most popular uses of the DMCA that has reached the public eye is to remove videos or articles that critique the work of a creator. Just a few of potentially thousands of the stories over the past couple of years I will list here. A YouTube creator by the name of I Hate Everything was legitimately bullied and harassed by the creator of a movie called Cool Cat Saves the Kids because he didn't like the criticism of the film. He even threatened litigation and threatened to contact several other copyright holders to get the user's channel removed, even though the user followed fair use law to the letter, and the copyright holder of Cool Cat Saves the Kids had no intention of suing. The copyright holder also did this to several other YouTubers. He used the DMCA as a spear to attack criticism. The creator of Cool Cat Saves the Kids is one of many. Digital Homicide, the creator of the video game The Slaughtering Grounds, that got a negative review from Jim Sterling, abused the DMCA to get his negative review removed. Another reviewer by the name of Total Biscuit had his negative review of a game called Day 1 Gary's Incident removed by the creator of Wild Game Studios, while allowing other reviews of similar content to stay on YouTube. The company Konami, who didn't like opinions of their internal affairs being spread across the internet, also abused the DMCA takedown, even when none of their copyrighted content was shown. I myself was the victim of this very recently, when one of my review videos was struck down by Blue Rocket Productions, the company that created the cartoon I reviewed, Pixel Pinky. Because they did not have any intent to sue, they were able to take down my video with no repercussions. My video went back up, but because there were no consequences, Blue Rocket was able to hire a shell company, Valiarm, to reuse the DMCA, ignoring the law that states that they must consider fair use before using the DMCA takedown feature. My review was taken down 3 times by the DMCA, even though the content creators had no intent to sue me for copyright infringement, and they only finally stopped when I brought the issue to the public. They most likely would still be doing this if I did not. The purpose of copyright law in general is to incentivize more people to create more productions for public consumption. However, the DMCA seems to be destroying and subverting the very purpose of copyright itself. People who make parodies, spoofs, reviews, and other topics that fall under fair use find themselves with DMCA takedown notifications in an attempt to silence them. The DMCA is doing even the opposite of what it intended to do: stop content creators from losing revenue. The site of YouTube has built a system where a copyright holder can either issue a takedown strike, whether the video is infringing or not, or allow a way for the copyright holder to take ad revenue from the video, even if it's a parody, spoof, or review and falls under fair use. Both of these effects are thrown around blindly because there are no consequences for doing either of them in bad faith. Copyright holders do not face consequences for filing false or misidentified DMCA takedown notifications. And lately, it seems that they don't even have to prove that they hold the copyright to the video that they wish to take down. People are afraid to start creating content because they're afraid that they'll lose everything that they're working for due to some blanket DMCA takedown sweep. And this is a very reasonable fear. This system has also created a very slimy business, filled by companies like AdRev for a third party, or Igetta. They claim copyright for other people or companies for a share of the profits, even though there is no reason by law that a copyright holder cannot file a DMCA takedown notice themselves. Companies and copyright holders are proving more and more vicious on what they consider copyright infringement. In 2013, music companies sent DMCA notices to over 50 websites that hosted the lyrics to songs. They didn't host the actual music, just the lyrics to the songs. This is similar to someone suing a movie synopsis or the plot summary of a book. If the DMCA is not changed to make this less possible, that's indeed the way this law will go. I wouldn't be surprised to see a company eventually suing Wikipedia. I wouldn't be surprised to eventually find people DMCAing Wikipedia for certain articles. The most major thing that needs to be changed is that there has to be consequences for filing false DMCA claims, by law. Right now, this is a system that incentivizes copyright holders, or just anyone really, since anyone can make a buck off of it, to silence any criticism that they don't like, while placing the burden of proof on the accused. There is no consequences for doing so, and using shell companies, a malicious copyright holder can do this as many times as they want. There also needs to be a provision in general to stop shell companies, as they are becoming the next version of patent trolls, people who abuse copyright laws while creating nothing that harms the creative process to the detriment of all of society. Mass takedowns should not be allowed. Copyright is a heavily nuanced law, and just hitting the whole thing bluntly is going to make thousands upon thousands of mistakes that could easily be avoided. Copyright depends on context, and as citizens of the United States, we have the presumption of innocence, which the DMCA is not allowing for. We also have the freedom of speech, which the DMCA is actively fighting against.